What is going on, guys? I am back after a long hiatus. I know I was trying to do it more regularly before. I've actually got a schedule this time. I'm going to be keeping up with making more videos lately. But skipping all that, we'll save the story of why I was absent for another day. I want to be complaining on here. Let's get into what today's video is going to be over. I'm going to talk about some of the most common issues I have seen people having on the forums with their Tesla unit. Now, the thing about it is most of these issues are things that are simple and have simple fixes. To be completely honest, Frank has made a video on most of these things, but I've heard people saying it's harder to locate them. So I've tried to compile what the biggest ones are, and we'll put them into one video so you guys can check them all out. I'm going to leave a list of all the issues we discussed today in the description below. If you don't see your issue, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. That way we can address it, if it's a known glitch, if it's something we haven't come across yet, or something that is simple to fix, and I can make a follow-up. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. And one of the biggest issues I see from people is they're saying when they start their unit, it's stuck muted. They can't do anything, can't see anything. They go to play music and nothing will, it's playing here, but they've got no sound. So what's going on? For this issue, the fix is actually pretty simple. What happens when the screen is muted? It's playing music, but you can't hear it? Your radio's off. Just reach up here, push the power button. You got sound. You can turn it up, turn it down, whatever. So yeah, just turn your radio on. Next issue is that the camera won't turn on. Now the next thing I've seen is that you have an issue to where your camera won't turn on. When you go to back up, and you're gonna hear my sensors go off too, but that screen is just black. You don't see a camera at all. As you can see mine. And for people who are wondering why that's happening, it's because of your car version. So you go to settings, up on down to advanced settings. Password for all of them is gonna be 8861. Hit OK. Now you see mine is set to Q50L high. That's what my particular model calls for. That's what allows it to see my camera. If you can't see yours, you need to set it to Q50L low, or if it's on low, set it to high. You just play with those settings until you get to the right one. There's only like 4 Q50 things listed in there. And once you find the right one, your camera should populate. Now, when you do changes to settings like this, make sure to also hit save and reboot. Reboot your screen, you'll be able to see everything. A lot of these settings in here, you don't have to touch. So I'm gonna say, unless there's something specific going on, don't mess with your settings in the advanced setting menu or in the system info menu, which is the secret menu. You see this pop up. This will tell you what version you have. As you can see, I have the latest. Hold it. Now the menu pops up, 7890. This pulls you into a separate advanced setting menu. Now again, don't mess around in here if you don't need to. There's a lot of potential to mess something up, and there's really not a whole lot you need to do. But now you know how to get to them both. Now while we're in here, let's talk about something you actually do want to change. There's a setting that usually is default to off called audio fade. So if you're hearing crackling in your music as you're playing it, just come to the advanced menu, turn on your audio fader. That should help out with 90% of those issues. Now, another issue I've seen people say is that they'll be playing their music through whatever app they have. You go to hit next, and all of a sudden it's a whole different player. It's your default player playing music. And people have wondered why that's going on. Well, that's also a very simple fix, so let me show you from the beginning of the process. So what's going on when you do that is that your music player, your default music player, is still on. And as an application, it takes priority over whatever else you're doing. So if when you press next, you see it plays from a different track, what you need to do is go into your recent apps, hit the little square button here, pulls them all up, and then just swipe away your music player. Close it just like that. Once it's closed, you should be able just to skip around on your present music player with no issues. Now, another issue people have been having is not being able to get any sound from the unit. There are one of 3 things I've run into that's the cause for this, and it's always been one of these 3 things on this release of units, so definitely make sure we run through all of them and check them out. The first is that you don't have it plugged in right. Now, remember what we talked about. There was a plug that runs down behind the cup holders, just under the center console. If you didn't run a plug there, you're not going to get sound. That's where your CAN bus is. That's how it takes over. The second form of the issue is that your auxiliary isn't in the right spot. Now you find this out by going to source, and sometimes when you click on auxiliary, it'll default to something else called audio apps that will be in this spot. Now you can see my car doesn't have it, so that's not a big deal. So I can just switch over to auxiliary, and good, I stay on auxiliary even when I go over to InTouch or anything like that. So let's hop on over. When I go over to settings, I can still see here I'm still on auxiliary, it didn't switch. For some people it'll switch to audio apps because that audio apps button, if it does that, go into your advanced settings, scroll down to Q50 aux, select the row it's on. Mine is on the second row, so no worries. Some of you have it on the third row if you have audio apps. Switch it to that, it should automatically switch to aux and stay there. However, that leads us into the third issue. You've done all that. Everything is good, it's staying on aux, but you go to play your music, still nothing, no matter what you do. So that's the very last issue. Now this is something they're going to be working on, but for now, the process to fix it is very simple. Start up your default music player. The system recognizes that music player, it'll actually switch over on it. It'll take a couple seconds, of course, but it'll pull up a standard song, whatever you had playing last on it. Now that that song is playing, we can close the music player. We don't have the same issue as before, where it goes ahead and just stays on that music player when switching. You can come back to your regular music player and sound. There you go. Next, we're going to talk about themes. Now, if you look at it, you see the top menu and the climate controls are not the same as what anybody has out of the box. This is an update that gives you a theme pack. Now, as far as the update, it will be listed in the description below. But once you process that update, what you'll want to do is go to your system info, the secret menu, hold that down, 7890, and OK. Pulls up this menu, and then you can go into system settings, and in UI you'll know it applied if you see numbers. You can pick different UIs of whatever you want, just mix and match. Some don't work together, some do. Play with it until you find something you like, and then rock with it. Now, next we're going to go into the volumes. There are several ways you can work the volumes to make it to where you want to be. With these settings, feel free to play with these, because you can get it to sound how you want. Just remember what you had originally or what works best so you can keep them. And then of course hit save and reboot to get them applied. There's also this export settings button, which is when you get your settings just how you like them. You can export them to a file on a USB. That way you have them in case something ever goes wrong with your radio. If a future version comes out and it's compatible with the previous settings, you can set that up too. Now, another quick one, and somebody on the forums found this one. I don't remember exactly who, but if you're that person, feel free to give yourself credit below. A way to improve your screen responsiveness very quickly is this setting here, the Force 4X MSAA. It's in the developer options. You just find it, check it, and it improves screen response tremendously. Simple, easy. Find it back. If you want to unlock your developer options, it's very easy to do so. Instructions are online everywhere. Just Google that and that'll get you set. Another minor one I found while we're in here is that some people are having issues with date and time. Getting that to stay, it's an hour forward or it's an hour backwards. The way I've done mine, quite plain and simply, is I have it set to automatic date and time, but not automatic time zone. Now, independently, I turned those two off and set it to Central Daylight Time. That got it set there for any future, daylight savings or anything like that. And then, like I said, just check the automatic date and time. What that does is if it ever does get off for any given reason, when you connect it to your phone via Wi-Fi, which I just use a hotspot on my phone, when you do that, it'll set the time to what your phone says. And your phone should always be correct. That will be correct. And that's it. But that should do it for us. So we have talked about just about all the issues that people are having, I believe. If there are any that I have missed, definitely drop them in the comment section below. I'd be glad to answer them, possibly do a follow-up video if need be. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Definitely hit that subscribe button. We always appreciate more subscribers. We're trying to hit that 1,000 mark so we can look at doing a giveaway of some sort. So we've got a new schedule for our videos. We're going to have some more things coming out where we're talking about different factors of the screen, some other things with the car scene around here. So you guys feel free to check those out. We appreciate you for always rocking with us. And as always, ride easy.